Or go for the throat and consuming vapors for Donald Noland. I think the big threats can be answered by Donald better.
Yeah. So for those of you just joining us, I'm Gavin Verhey here with Adrian Sullivan, and we're about to watch a really exciting round 7 feature match between Donnie Noland and Matt Land. Donnie Noland on your left playing a pretty unconventional Jund-based ramp deck. Explorers, Wormcoil Engine, Abyssal Persecutor, Grave Titan, Inferno Titan, Orca Dial, Lotus Cobra, 6 different Planeswalkers. And those
4 different planeswalkers. 6 total planeswalkers. My bad.
6 total planeswalkers.
6 total planeswalkers.
4 different kinds of planeswalkers. 2 Garruk, 2 Sark in the Mad, 1 Liliana Vest, 1 Chandra Nalaar. And those planeswalkers are going to be crucial in this matchup against Matt Land. Matt Land is playing a blue-red Destructive Force deck, very similar to the one we saw at last year. It's like, once again, it's like we're back in 2010 with some of the decks we're seeing today. And yeah, Destructive Force, Trinket Mage, Frost Titan, Inferno Titan, Koth of the Hammer, Jace the Mind Sculptor. And the really cool thing about Matt Land's deck is out of the sideboard, he can board in to Shape a New Blightsteel Colossus to just combo kill his opponent out of nowhere.
So one of the things that I think is really exciting about Donnie Noland's deck, right? Donnie Noland actually is playing a deck that can attack from 3 real angles. It has several card advantage engines going on with it, so it can win on the card advantage side. It's got huge creatures, and then it's got these planeswalkers that can come out at really rapid speeds. So our first 2 turns, Donnie Noland gets 2 lands out. He's got access to green and red, and Matt Land with just red.
Yep, and Donnie's deck is going to take a little while. He didn't have an Explorer there or a Lotus Cobra, and those are his main 2 ways to ramp. So without those, it's going to take him more time than he might want to hit up his bigger threats. Here comes Scalding Tarn for Matt Land, and looks like just going to pass with Mana Leak mana up. Or he could play Chalice if he wanted to, but he's probably just going to pass, hold Mana Leak, and then be able to play Chalice with Mana Leak up next turn. And there's the Explore from Donnie Noland, and Matt Land is just going to up the Mana Leak it right here. And yep, sure. And
okay, joining us in the booth, we're going to have a very knowledgeable person in the game. I'm guessing we're going to see Jared Silva here for a moment to step in and let Gavin go out and scout the world and see what's going on out there. Okay, so it's the 3rd turn now, and we've got, to catch Jared up, we're right here at the Star City Games Open Series in Atlanta. I'm Adrian Sullivan. I'm here with Jared Silva.
How's it going, guys?
You're our head judge today, right?
No, Steven Zwanger is our head judge.
Okay,
yep,
cool.
I'm scorekeeping behind the computer. So.
Sounds good. Matt Land, I'm going to change this around, on the right is playing blue-red, harkening back to States with Frost Titan and Destructive Force.
Oh, nice. It's good to see Destructive Force getting some play at the top tables.
And Donald Noland, on the other hand, green-black-red with Lotus Cobra, numerous Titans, including the fake Titans, Abyssal Persecutor and Wormcoil Engine, numerous Planeswalkers, and some solid black removal and Red Sun Zenith.
Yep, and the Lotus Cobra to power it all up.
Okay, in play right now. What we are looking at here, Trinket Mage and Koth are on play for Matt Land.
Trinket Mage looked like it went and got an Everflowing Chalice, one of the nice F&M ones.
Right, and the Koth coming into play here on turn 4, making a 4/4, both of those creatures coming in.
Let's see if there's a go for the throat from Donnie. Yep, he
goes for the Mountain's Throat.
Saves him 4 damage and also sets back Matt's red sources.
One of the things that's kind of exciting, I think, about just the image of that is an entire mountain having its throat gone for by a vampire. And here we have Red Sun Zenith.
Finishing off Koth.
Yep, 2 for 1 for Matt Land there, but, you know, he's fine with getting rid of that Koth.
Well, the problem for Donnie is he doesn't know that there's another one waiting in Matt's hand.
And he's got a mountain to join it.
Yep.
So that's going to hit the table. So Rashad would like to point out that this is a no-land matchup versus land. Traditionally, land beats no land, but I would say in response to Rashad's chuckle from the side that I really like Donnie's shot here in this one. Again, Trinket Mage comes in. It's joined there by that's a chalice?
Yep, an ever-flowing chalice for 1.
Yeah, I don't recognize that art. What is that from?
That's the F&M promo. I believe it was last month.
Saul Malka walking up. Would it be okay if I had Saul Malka join us
Absolutely.
for a second?
Saul, you want to come in and
here.
join us?
Joining us in the booth, Magic Legend Saul Malka.
I don't know about legend. I was good in 2002.
Well, you're a legend in my own mind.
Too.
Saul is definitely in yours too. Saul is not playing today in the standard. He'll be joining tomorrow for the draft portions. And you can see over here we got a green, black, red deck that is pretty insane. This is being played by Donnie Noland, who Saul, if I remember correctly from the stories I heard, hooked Donnie up for a pretty awesome club experience this weekend. But sadly, this is a PG-12 place, so we can't probably talk about it too much.
He was well behaved. He was with his girlfriend.
Okay. Now, Donnie here, what do we got there?
So he's doing pretty well then.
That's a Garrick from Donnie.
Yeah, Garrick facing off versus Koth. I have to say, I like Koth's chances, even if Donnie is summoning Rashad Miller 3/3s.
So just to catch myself and I guess anyone watching up, what is this player's record and what round are we in? Oh, I see we're in round 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're in round 7. I believe we're at 2 6-1 players facing off here.
Matt Land finishing off Garrick. Flurry of burn, and in comes Trinket Mage and a Mountain again. This is far more aggressive than the state-era versions of Blue-Red that looked similar to this. Part of it based on that 3 Koth.
Yeah, that definitely is a major changeover.
Donnie really does need some land. He does not have enough.
He is not getting there right now. The Consuming Vapors isn't going to do a whole lot. It would take out the Trinket Mage, but when it rebounds, he's probably not going to put something else in its way. Just keep hitting with mountains, which would be plenty to keep the beats on.
Frost Titan waiting in the wings in Matt Land's hand.
And after putting down his second chalice to start that, to end his last turn, he now has the 6 mana to get there.
Five.
So Donnie goes back up to 5 off the Consuming Vapors.
So I take it these are both kind of a little out of the box decks.
Oh yeah, these are definitely out of the box.
These are not the decks that we've been seeing at the top tables. However, no, these are just definitely not the decks we've been seeing at the top tables. It's neat to see something new.
You just go ultimate on Koth there?
And there we go.
Yep.
Hold on. That's my call.
All right.
Right here.
Saul Malka
Off the
in for a
draft.
few seconds, but that's cool. We'll talk to you more tomorrow, I hope.
Good having you in, Saul.
There.
So for game 2, what we're going to be having is, I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Land brings in Shape Anew to the Blightsteel Colossus, but that's only because he hasn't seen Consuming Vapors from Donnie Noland, which does provide a potential answer.
He saw it the last play from Donnie was a Consuming
Oh, did he
Vapors.
see it? Okay. I
Now-
missed that as Saul was leaving.
Now the question on that is that a card that Donnie wants to leave in this matchup? You know, it certainly is good against the Titans, but you know, primarily he's not expecting to see a whole lot of guys on the table sitting
Right.
around waiting to die to Consuming Vapors. At 4 mana, if you're only getting 1 creature with it, it's not all that strong.
Yeah, I predict Donnie is going to bring in a green package. Obstinate Bailoff is actually hard for a blue-red deck to deal with once it's on the table. Acidic Slime against a deck that's more aggressive or more controlling like this is very powerful. Even against a card like Koth, if there's a Koth on the table, knocking off a mountain and then having a Death Touch creature that can kill another mountain, that can really blunt the power of a Koth.
Yep, and I expect the Thrun to come in just as an unanswerable blocker.
Yeah.
You can leave the 2 mana back, and he really can't send mountains in.
The Gaia's Revenge, I think, also is probably going to come in. I'm seeing blue there, and I'm seeing Trinket Mage. I'm expecting the possibility for counterspells.
Yep.
And a Gaia's Revenge, I don't think that there is any green in Matt Land's deck to make that Gaia's Revenge less potent.
Nope. Now, one question is whether or not Donnie wants to bring in the Memora sides, whether there's one silver bullet out of Matt Land's deck that he wants to take away. Certainly, Jace and Koth are powerful, powerful cards, but you're not going to shut off a deck by pulling them away. It may be worthwhile, but it's only if you've got something to pull out, I think.
I don't think that the Memora side actually makes much sense. It's not for an opponent like Matt Land. It's for somebody that's going to get shut off by having a singular card taken out, and
Yep.
that does not look like what Matt Land's deck is.
Nope. Now, Donnie did not get off to any sort of start in that game and never made it up to the 6 mana. That's the magic number. So it'll be interesting to see with him on the play whether or not he can get off to that start and put some pressure on Matt Land. I think that the blue-red deck operates a lot differently on its heels than it did in that last game.
Okay. Matt Land, other than the Blightsteel Colossus trick with Shape Anew, he didn't really see anything from his opponent that might be worth bringing in. You might bring in that Blightsteel Colossus trick essentially because you're dealing with a deck that maybe you think can't handle a Colossus hitting play.
Well, if you're trying to figure out what he's playing, you don't have a whole lot to go on from this last game. If he knew that it was going to be all 6 toughness creatures, those destructive forces might be wanting to find their way to the sideboard, even if it's just to bring in the Sebions as a little bit of extra.
Yeah, but he just
card
hasn't
draw.
seen anything at this point, you know?
Yep.
Like,
Well, we start off with a Halimar Depths from Matt Land. Looks at the top 3, puts them back on. Passes back over. Now Donnie's got a Blackcleave Cliffs followed by a Raging Ravine. It'll be interesting to see whether he can follow through. There's a Copperline Grove that he just drew.
This Lotus Cobra is so dangerous. There we go.
Not very dangerous when it goes straight to the graveyard.
Right.
Mana Leak from Matt Land puts an end to that.
Trinket Mage, perhaps? There it is.
Yep. Going to get the Chalice, which I think are the only targets.
That's correct. Nothing wrong with that, though, if you ask me. Particularly for a deck that's a destructive...
Well, let's see. It looks like he did bring in the Shape Anew package.
Oh, did he? Okay. Well, particularly for a deck that is a destructive force deck, it's really powerful. Now, if he brought in the Shape Anew package, that has to mean that he's down to 1 Chalice.
I was going to say, was that a whiff? That looked like that may have actually just been a complete whiff.
Maybe he's just double-checking to make sure he took out all the other
yeah, there's
Everflow
Shape Anew
Chalice.
in the hand.
Does he have a Chalice in his hand there?
Yep.
In his hand?
Yep. He's got a Shape Anew, a Preordain. The big question is, what is he going to be able to Shape Anew? Did he blank the Shape Anew package by taking everything out?
I think he did. Oops.
That's not going to be very good in this game. There's the Blightsteel Colossus right there on the top.
Look at that. It's mocking him.
Thinking, can I get to 11?
Very, very,
and they go all the way down to the bottom, so
now,
at least he's not drawing that card.
If he had kept in the 1 Chalice like he thought he had,
that
he would have been
game.
able to lay the
that would have been a
Colossus
turn
right then.
That would have been a turn 4. Now here comes Persecutor. He's going to start eating away at the life total. What are the fun ways that Donnie has to get rid of Persecutor? He's got Sarkhan the Mad.
He's got Chandra Nalar.
Yep.
He's got Red Sun Zenith.
Well, Chandra is not going to get there unless she ticks up 1, right?
No, she can just go hit the table and then kill herself off. 6 power, and Chandra Nalar starts at a 6.
Starts at a 6, okay.
Yeah. Red Sun Zenith go for the throat, and consuming vapors. So he
All right,
actually
so he does
has
have some pretty good answers.
At least, what is that, 9 ways to deal with it, maybe 10.
Yep.
Now we've got a acidic slime doing some
And
work.
that's an Oracle of Muldaya going to the bottom of Donnie Noland's deck.
Jace the Mind Sculptor on the other side.
Interesting to see Jace going up rather than just brainstorming and trying to get some more card advantage.
Yeah, or bouncing that.
As Matt looks at his sideboard and has got to be kicking himself.
2 Shapen News. Cough. Here comes the Raging Ravine.
And
Missile
Jace
Persecutor.
goes away.
Yeah. He holds back the acidic slime, not because he wants to defend against that Trinket Mage, I don't think, but I think he just wants a slime there to potentially kill a mountain.
Yep.
Or to kill, an Inferno Titan or some other big thing later. Trading with a Trinket Mage right now is actually not as useful as just being a thing out there to hold off a monster.
Yeah, he'd happily just take the 2 to keep acidic slime back to fight with more important pieces. Now, an interesting thing is Donnie has not seen any pieces of the Shape-A-New.
Right.
So the question is whether or not there was a big reaction from Matt that we didn't see when he was searching through with that Trinket Mage and realizing that his entire Ever-Flowing Chalice set was out. Raging Ravine activates again. Abyssal Persecutor goes after Koth. Trinket Mage jumps in the way of the Raging Ravine. And at that point, we might want to be questioning whether or not the acidic slime should have gotten in just because it was going to get in for 2.
Yeah.
So otherwise, the Raging Ravine's going to get in for 5, and you're starting to get down into the range where it's just burn.
Now he lays the Koth, attacks. That attack means that he's not going to be within range of getting a Frost Titan out, but there really isn't time anyway. I mean, as long as he attacks his head rather than the Koth, this game's over.
Yep, and that should be hand out, and let's go to game 3, see if we can sideboard again.
He's not dead yet. I mean, Abyssal Persecutor does have a drawback. It's just, there it is. There's your way to... I can kill my own Persecutor, thank you.
Show me the kill means a lot different thing when you have Abyssal Persecutor on the board.
Donnie Noland. I don't think he knows how close he was to having some really scary stuff happen.
No, and honestly, after game 2, you got to question whether or not he's going to be bringing in those consuming vapors or pulling them back out again. He still has seen nothing that makes you want to play that card. And without consuming vapors, I don't know what else he has that gets him out of that.
Now, one of the things about a sideboard mistake like Matt Land did there, at high level play, we're in round 7. These guys are 6-1, and it's just been a long day already.
Yeah.
And they've been playing for about, I think,
about
7
7
hours.
Yep.
Now, at that length of play, you can just make a small mistake like that. You can say to yourself, I'm going to take out 3 chalices, and then take out the 4th. He obviously knows that he needs a chalice. So he probably just made a small error when he was just pulling those out and didn't notice that he took out the full package.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was not a conscious decision to side it into a package that needed 1 chalice and not have the chalice. But sometimes it just crosses up.
I mean, that'd be the kind of thing that I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself about if he doesn't win this game 3. I mean, that's just, I know I've definitely made a bonehead mistake or 2 in my time. Most of us who have been playing this game for any length of time have made our bonehead mistake. Matt Land was just unfortunate enough to have it captured on camera.
Yep, and it happens.
Okay, Matt Land will almost certainly be on the play.
And you've got to think that he's actually as well set up to pull that off as you can possibly be. I wouldn't expect Donnie to be ready for it at all.
Right.
especially after the last game where it was perfectly set up and it didn't happen. So when a Trinket Mage blanks, you got to expect that, okay, now you know that Shape Anew is kind of off the table, and it's not.
Okay. I mean, one of the things I'm pretty excited about is that both of these decks were able to succeed in this format. A lot of people have talked about this format being completely done. We got Matt Land showing
his
off
Camelback.
his travel accessories here.
Got to stay hydrated. It's important.
If Gavin were still in the booth right now, we would already have, some really experienced hydration experts to be able to weigh in. Looking off just the side of me, I think there are about 3 dozen empty water bottles that Gavin's already guzzled down. That's only a small exaggeration.
We actually do stock additional water on weekends when Gavin's here.
I'm not surprised.
All right, so let's see if either of these decks can come out of the gates, because it's really been more stumbles that
Absolutely.
have changed the games and have been the important parts of it. Donnie couldn't get going in game 1.
He did not have enough land.
In game 2, Matt Land wasn't able to pull off his Shape Anew combo, and looks like he's throwing back here.
Yeah, I mean, if Donnie had had more land, he would have been fine that first game. But when he needed it, there was no land to be found.
Yep. So we're here in Atlanta at the Star City Games Open.
This is Adrian Sullivan.
And Jared Silva.
We're at day 1 of 2 fabulous days of gaming. That means it's standard. And as we were talking about moments ago, standard has been in some ways called a solved format, but I don't think that that's the case. I think that it is a format that is definitely got a front runner, but it seems like there's a lot of room here to play.
One of the things that I think is most interesting is that this format is playing out as a very mature format. You have decks that are now trying to prey on the top deck, and they're decks that, if some of the other major decks were larger players, they wouldn't be able to succeed.
Yeah. One of the things that's pointed out from our Twitter feed, which you can follow along with, is that Donnie does have, if he took out the Consuming Vapors, he does have Sark in the Mad to answer Colossus.
He does, yep.
So we have, starting things off, Matt Land goes land, Donnie Noland responds with land, and then a second turn Sebion for Matt Land.
Yep, and that's almost part of the Shape Anew, because he had the Blightsteel Colossus in his hand and had to find a way to put it back in. So it was good that he could pull off that turn 2 Sebion, throw that Blightsteel Colossus back in there. He does have a Trinket Mage and an Ever-Flowing Chalice, so he's just looking for the Shape Anew. He should be able to get there. And that is, in fact, another Trinket Mage. And those are actually pretty much blanks at this point with his Ever-Flowing Chalice already in his hand.
He might have taken the package out.
The Colossus was in his opening hand, so it's still in there.
Still there.
Donnie doesn't seem to be starting off with a whole bunch, but there's Memoricide.
Wow.
Now, what do we got named?
I mean, if
Rashad, can we get a name on
he probably would name Koth, given what he's seen so far. Is Koth what he named?
Yep.
And it is a Koth.
He does name Koth. So he doesn't hit anything in the hand, but double Lightning Bolt, Galvanic Blast, Ever-Flowing Chalice, and double Trinket Mage. Donnie's got to be wondering what happened. Why are those Trinket Mages there? And he's stopping on those Shape Anews. I don't think he was expecting that at all, Adrian. So we are here in round 7. We've got 2 5-1 players, Donnie Noland on the left and Matt Land on the right. Donnie Noland playing Jund build with a whole bunch of Titans, Abyssal Persecutor, Worm Coil Engine. Matt Land is playing a blue-red kind of aggro control deck with Destructive Force.
It's a mid-range control deck. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a mid-range deck.
And he has sided into a Shape Anew package with Blightsteel Colossus. And so he's looking for that Shape Anew right now. Adrian, I was a bit surprised to see Memoricide played. We talked about it, and we didnn't expect that it was coming in.
I didn't expect that one to come either. It could just be that he imagines that his opponent mostly kills with fire or with Koth and other planeswalkers, and he was like, "Well, I'm going to stop that from happening."
What's interesting here is if he does manage, oh, there's a second Memoricide, and that's going to end the Shape Anew plan. Now the question is, what's he naming? He knew there was double Lightning Bolt, but he's going to probably be going after, the Blightsteel Colossus. Leaves those 4 Shape Anews in there as blanks. And so it pays off to have those Memoricides. Those are both pretty devastating. So Matt's got to be sitting here completely changed. Last turn he wanted to see Shape Anew. This turn, it's absolutely useless to him.
In for 2, Trinket Mage nibbling away. That's not exciting to have just gone that. He's got the Frost Titan waiting in the wings, it looks like. Abyssal Persecutor gets countered.
Yep.
There we go, if we can just find it. And
it's somewhere in there.
I see a Lightning Bolt. I think I see a Grave Titan.
Galvanic Blast at the head. He's holding double Lightning Bolt, and Donnie does know that.
Another Trinket Mage. There you go. Tap that blue.
You got to tap all 3.
The blue.
Trinket Mage dies to a Lightning Bolt. Don't know how often that happens. Yep, this is what Donnie was waiting for.
There we go.
There's Grave Titan.
Grave Titan.
And the hits are going to just start keeping on coming. Double Lightning Bolt, 2-for-1s. More than 2-for-1s, because those 2 zombies are still out there on the board. There's a Frost Titan on top, and he takes the island to hand, so that next turn we should see that Frost Titan, and he's going to double kick that ever-flowing Chalice.
Right. Now, one of the things that Frost Titan is usually the Titan trump. In Titan Wars, Frost Titan wins.
Not when Go for the Throat is waiting in the wings in Donnie's hand. Well, second Grave Titan makes it.
That is now a grand
pretty
total.
Good army for Donnie. And it's not looking so good for Matt.
Frosty's going to come down and knock down the Grave Titan just to wait for a little while. There you go.
Yep.
It looks like Donnie has enough mana to pay for that, to go for the Throat, and to pay for the Frost Titan's ability.
Yep. Go for the Throat, costing 4 to knock off a Frost Titan doesn't seem like a bad deal.
Yeah, I would do it.
There you go. And Matt is drawing to try and get out of this.
A Destructive Force plus a Burn Spell would get him there, but he's got only 1 card coming.
Yep.
That's
and
it.
There it goes.
There we go, Donnie Noland.
Donnie Noland moves to 6-1 with his Jund deck. Matt Land has got to be, he's going to be stewing about that sideboard decision.
Okay.
All right.
Now, I, for one, would love to be able to speak with Donnie Noland about his deck. Hopefully he'll have the time to come in here and join us.
Yeah, it would definitely be an interesting discussion, because this is something that we have not seen, and it would be it's definitely would be interesting to talk to him about where he came up with it, whether he got it from somebody, and For those of you who don't